What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Land of 10,000 Sports, all Minnesota sports podcast. Where you can find daily updates about the Minnesota Vikings, Wild, Twins, Timberwolves. And in today's news, it's only fair we start off with the Vikings since training camp just got underway yesterday, and day 2 should be today. And, we have some good news, we have some bad news, unfortunately. But with that being said, as always, make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content or are a passionate Minnesota sports fan like myself. And in today's episode, it's only fair we start off with the unfortunate injury news yesterday. Mekhi Blackmon suffered a torn ACL in the 7v7 drill. Mekhi Blackmon had a really strong season as a rookie and was a big reason why the Vikings were able to be from one of the bottom 3 defenses in 2022 to a top 15 defense this past season. And he showed a really solid year. PFF backed it up, had him, I believe it's the 15th overall highest graded cornerback in the league. And as a rookie, he was exceptional and was expecting another big step in the right direction this year as well. But with that being said, unfortunately, injuries happen. It's unfortunate. I know he'll be back stronger than ever for next season, but, it sucks arguably not having your best cornerback on the team. So now when you look at the cornerback position, that was already a depleted position just with everything, the unfortunate news that happened earlier this month and, the Mekhi Blackmon injury. It just, it's a question mark where they'll go now. You still have Brian Murphy who can play the nickel or, slot, and, you still have Caleb Evans. But I'm curious, you signed Shaq Griffin. But if there's ever more than time now, my boy Andrew Booth Jr., he could step up. He played a little bit last year, but if he can step up and it's a make or break year for him, this is it. You lose your quarterback one to an unfortunate injury, you got to step up. That's the one guy I'm going to be looking for throughout training camp. Is he getting any team one reps? It's the guy that's going to have to step up just with everything that's happened. You need someone to just help out there, and I'm hoping he can be the one that's going to be able to do it just because he has all the talent in the world, and I've been rooting for him, but injuries and just kind of, not being able to stay healthy. And it just made him, not live up to the hype quite yet. But he has an opportunity now. And I'm going to see if he can't take it now, there won't ever be a time. So that's just kind of one position I'm going to be looking at. Who's going to be a start? My guess is it'd be Shaq, Caleb, Murphy on the inside. But if Booth could just get some run or just make an impact on second team just to give him some reps. If they do play 3 out, will he be in there? So that's going to be kind of one, key mark. Just the unfortunate news with Mekhi Blackmon. Can, someone like him be willing to step up and take it and just kind of make an impact on this team? That'd be great because this defense still has high aspirations with the additions they made. So kind of how can they recover from this injury? It'll be interesting to see in what B-Flow does maybe to, change up the scheme or just personnel within that. Next, though, we'll move to the offensive side of the ball, where this will kind of be, a little brief overview as we head into, just day 2. But day 1, there were some great highlights from the offense. They brought the pressure on McCarthy, who made some good throws, but also, had I seen Metellus bat a ball down, but Josh Metellus just a freak. And it's good. They're bringing the pressure. They're just throwing all different looks at him. McCarthy's just a 21-year-old. He's going to take his time to develop. There's no need to rush him right in. I think he's going to be really good when his time is called. But I don't think that'll be at least the beginning of this season where, obviously Sam Darnold's going to take the reins, but this is all just developmental for McCarthy. We're seeing the good, we're seeing some bad, but that's the whole point of this training camp. And, it's good that Brian Flores isn't taking it easy on him because that's not how it is in the real world. So we approach, training camp, you're going to see a lot of different looks, and, we'll see how he kind of, looks as we progress. But day 1, overall, very, good, a lot of good to take away from, especially probably the highlight of the day. That wasn't J.J. McCarthy, but Sam Darnold connecting with J.J. McCarthy for a 50-plus yard touchdown. And you could see J.J. was hype, even in the Vikings DM and comment section. I'm just saying, just some comment like what a baller, how it is. J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, also J.J. too, Jay Jettas. Is still expecting big things even without Kirk. People are kind of sleeping on him, I think, fantasy-wise. I think Sam Darnold is going to know how to get him the ball. He was just thrown into a terrible situation with the Jets. then with Carolina, and even in Carolina, still emerged them to a 3-0 start, and showed a lot of good. And then he sat what I think he needed to do last year to sit behind a great organization like the 49ers, sit behind Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, and kind of, learn the ropes. And then now he's going into a situation where he's starting. And, you're going to have Justin Jefferson. They already seem to be forming a connection. Jordan Addison, who spoke to the media yesterday. And at some point, TJ Hawkinson, but even then, Josh Oliver, just guys that can contribute, catch. It'll be interesting to see who that wide receiver 3 is. Is it Brandon Powell? He had a drop in drills. But, if he can, be that wide receiver 3, if the weapons can just be enough for him, I'm excited to see what happens. Sam Darnold is just a humble guy, so I'm going to be rooting for him. And, if he balls out, that's great. And if he gets paid somewhere else, I'm fine with that too. I'm just, root for players. And, I thought he always got an unfortunate draw, even without being on the Vikings. And I'm ready to see, hopefully he can prove himself, because similar to Andrew Booth, if you can't prove it now with all these weapons, the best weapons you've ever had in your career, then what will you prove it with? Still, Christian Darrisaw got locked up. Chuck CD. Vikings took care of that early, which was great. You have him, Brian O'Neill. Ed Ingram took a step last year. If he can, remain consistent, Bradbury's just okay, which, is fine. And still Blake Brandel or, Dalton Reiser at left guard. That's a solid offensive line. So it's not the best, but, with the 2 tackles that are top 10 and an interior that I think is not good by any means, but it's not the worst. Ed Ingram was like an average league guard last year, which is fine. Bradbury's kind of the last 2 years been average, which has been a lot better from bottom of the barrel, which he has been the first 3 years of his career. And then obviously, someone like Dalton Reisner, just a solid pass blocking guard. May not be the best run game, but, it's an overall solid offensive line. So if Sam Darnold can just make it work, this would be the year for that. And I'm curious what they do. I'm also curious for the defensive side, when we move over to the defense, kind of what they do with the Mekhi Blackmon injury, kind of who's starting, who's in and out, what's the personnel, because obviously, Brian Flores has talked and teams have talked about, they figured they used a unique college personnel, which was blitz a lot. They blitzed at a historic rate, like 55%, and do zone coverage in the back. Do they play more man-to-man? Is there less blitzing? They're using Josh Metellus in more of a linebacker role. So kind of how does that work out? Cam Bynum, Harrison Smith roaming back there. Who are the cornerback positions? It's all going to be interesting. And this was kind of just day one. I'm excited, as, we approach, training camp as it gets further in, what we kind of, see on Twitter, highlights, and, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi talk about in their press conferences. But overall, it's just exciting to have Vikings football back. And obviously, I think they're in a unique situation. We knew what we were getting kind of the 6 years with Kirk Cousins, which was solid quarterback play. But this year, everyone's expecting the Vikings to be bad, 5 wins or so, maybe 6 on some sports books. But if this team could surprise and Sam Darnold could just take the league by storm, I'd be here for it. And I'm just really excited to see what this team looks like with J.J. McCarthy behind the helm in maybe a year or later on the season. It's just going to be beautiful. Hopefully a healthy Justin Jefferson. Hopefully this defense gets after it. It looks like Van Ginkel will be good to go despite dealing with that foot injury. Jonathan Grenard, their new additions, Blake Cashman, what they do. Ivan Pace entering year 2. I think this team, it could be a sleeper team. And that's not even a homer pick. Like when I look at teams that have stacked rosters and, just bringing a new QB, you could be surprised. I think this team could be a team that could be destined to, maybe win like 9 games, just be a surprise team. That would be amazing. But with that being said, it will be fun as we approach, later in training camp and see more stuff come out. But yesterday was just day one. We're approaching a long week and, a couple weeks. Preseason will be up shortly before we know it. And we'll always, be here to recap those fun things as well. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of stuff, and check out our other content on Sports Talk on Tap, where if you're not a Minnesota sports fan, more so just, a wide variety of sports topics. But thank you. We'll catch you next one. Peace.